Hi. Extremely good Sun and Moon show the other day. This is really great news. There's two very senior data points that have come from that last group, and I've got to say, I'm very, very. This is like prophetic that we should be getting together and talking about this in this format that we can actually speak freely, And it's like it's said in the group, right? There's so many people that are tipping the hat to consciousness. The political optics of what they're saying is a tacit vote of confidence in consciousness, right? And so these two evidences that came from the group were really amazing. And I tell you what, I've almost got it, man. I've almost got it, because as I produce this in a book form, I've almost got the composition 100%. Almost. And these two things almost tidy it up very nicely. And so special shout outs, man, to Dojo and to Raw, man. My goodness. That's a serious thing. That data point. Gay people have appropriated the word gay, which I always look sideways at, man. I didn't like that they appropriated the word gay, because I loved what gay means. Gay means really exuberantly happy, and it's like amazing, and it's, gay and joy, right? Like this, man. They're twins. So they appropriated the word gay, and it was appropriate that they did that, because gay people are more exuberantly happy. And so why does the majority, for a long time gay people were very much vilified and existed as outcasts. And so the realization, because 1 + 1 = 3, and Zen was saying something and I was saying something, and then ping, 1 + 1 started equaling 3. Wow. And yeah, the reason why people didn't like gays is because anxiety hates happiness. Anxiety hates relaxed. Anxiety hates relaxed. And so that's the whole political, how the philosophy of the political is underwritten. The values in play of that is that anxiety hates happy. Hates it. Anxiety thinks happy is stupid. Anxiety has no respect for happy. And so that was a major moment. And as evidence, because you've got here multiple data points, right? Multiple senior data points that reflect the different facets of the human experience, and they are all in agreement with each other, while you perceive the facets of the human experience from the perspective that the common conventional wisdom is that anxiety is virtuous. Okay, all of these facets, they are operating as they are according to that singular thing, and so then you have this one of the anti-tamper measures, which is the language. And so while you might consider a problem, and there's some area of your life there's a problem, and you might be in some trouble to fix that, and so you're trying to show courage to find a solution, but anxiety keeps rebooting itself from the other facets of your human experience. Okay, and so and that was an amazing moment that we had. That the whole reason gay people were outcast from society for so long is because the conventional wisdom is that anxiety is virtuous, and anxiety hates happy people. I mean, this is besides this fact is, why do people go and be gay outside of normal society? Maybe they don't like how everyone believes that anxiety is virtuous, and they need to be, and they look to find an expression to express how they feel. In this realm where consciousness finds itself in a physical form, okay, how does one express oneself under these circumstances? Well, you choose to do something like you be gay. You know, you have to do something obviously outside the boundaries of that political construct to make your point, to make your expression of value, right? And so yeah, that was an amazing moment, and that's very potent evidence for the revelation of the 8 laws. Because in this day and age, that's that's at the forefront of people that believe that anxiety is virtuous, pushing the political status of gay people, using emotional blackmail, and taking full advantage of the threat matrix available to them of the 8 laws, in this political environment that believes that anxiety is virtuous. So yeah, that was that. That was amazing. The second moment. Now, so how it's been conceptualized there. The reason gay people have historically been outcast from society is, on one hand, they needed a way to express themselves that was obviously outside the realms of societal norms, because they don't like it how people think that anxiety is virtuous. And as a baby that has not got language, which is what the actual language we actually compute with, this is what the process is. That's what needs to happen to send the message. So that fantastic data point. It's an academic data point. It's academic. But the other one was different. Now, Karen, bless her heart, made the distinction about something Dojo said, and that was really cool, man. How that was, wisdom materialized right then. this is just great, right? Because it came to it that Karen made this distinction, and it came to me that how come ego is only something that exists in the negative? Okay, so there's a few things there, right? There's a few things there. One is that it be perceived in the negative is entirely a matter of perspective. Okay, because no one acknowledges that anxiety is virtuous, because, as it's been stated, when people believe that anxiety is virtuous, the concept of anxiety actually disappears, it evaporates. And because they think that anxiety is virtuous, actually, because they think that anxiety is wise and wisdom, it evaporates the concept of wisdom as well, because it's actually anxiety. And so what is the perception of ego under that circumstance? And why is that definition, you get the word ego, why is that definition only something considered in the negative? Now this is factual proof and evidence that this is an entirely political thing. You have, the perception of it, ego, that it can only be in the negative. This is a total political subjectivity, because what of the rest of the time? What of the rest of the time? And this is a stupendous thing to consider. And so this is what he actually did. So Karen reacted to something Dojo was saying, but Dojo's original statement, what he was actually doing, he was fully trying to channel consciousness from within the jurisdiction of the 8 laws, because you're not allowed to mention consciousness. Okay, mentioning consciousness is a direct challenge to anxiety, and that is forbidden. That's forbidden. The 6th law, the 8th law, the 4th law, and any multiple combinations thereof. And so, to identify that actually what is being talked about when people say ego is actually consciousness asserting itself. Okay, but you've got to separate the forest from the trees, man. Everybody exists emotionally in this state, right? Where they're frustrated, they're trying to get their point across, they might have had things made very difficult for them, they may not be able to articulate how they feel, because consciousness has been abolished. And so, people tend to load up more energy into some things than they should, than they ever would if they were relaxed. And so, in the real time frame of it, if people believe that anxiety is virtuous and they're trying to assert themselves, that's your ego. That's why it's perceived in the negative. Because while the belief is that anxiety is virtuous, there is no alternative. Nothing else exists. Okay, so it's only the definition exists only under the conventional wisdom that anxiety is virtuous when someone is asserting themselves, pushing their consciousness into other people. And no one can actually deal with it, because everyone knows that he's doing it because anxiety is virtuous, and everybody knows that which is the person is the most important thing. And so, as a saying, the second law is you must allow at all times when anyone wants to conceal their anxieties. Okay, so this is ego taking advantage. Okay, this is ego taking advantage of the second law. So this is like This is like the 6th law and the 8th law and the 5th law definitely, right? And it's taking full advantage of the 4th law, and it's actually philosophically underwritten by the 2nd law. Okay, and so this revelation, this qualifies. This is what I'm saying about this thing. Why doesn't ego exist outside of the negative definition? Okay, this qualifies anxiety. Right, as the main driver of perception. Okay, this also qualifies consciousness as real. Okay, because even though anxiety's hijacked consciousness, the values of consciousness are still there. This passion for expansion. Okay, so the dynamicities of consciousness, the passion for expansion, this is a lot of the experience while people believe that anxiety is virtuous. So this is what people's money philosophy is. It's believing anxiety is virtuous while they have also the experience of consciousness passionate about expansion, but it's been hijacked by anxiety, and so there's your money philosophy of rich people. This is why it seems to be some kind of religious experience to get rich, and people become blinded to all those around them, you know. And so I just had to have a few days to kind of process that, and amazing, man, amazing. So, as I say, the book is coming along, and it has to be, you know what, I can write this book just ping. I've actually gotten pretty good at typing, right, in the last 2 years. Whoa, I'm actually quite speedy at it, and but the actual, see, consciousness writes this. Consciousness will write this, right? And so the format, the composition, okay, the composition. See, I can write all these words, man, filling up these pages, but the composition, how that's the key thing, because you already know all about this. People know all about this already. And that proves actually as well that the discovery is the truth. And it is the revelation. Because while it's the hugest surprise to everybody, everybody's already 100% familiar with it. And so there you go. So yeah, I had to say something about that. You know, I can't, you know, I'm very grateful that this group exists, the Sun and Moon group, and we talk, you know, and I get asked to talk, and it's been quite the revelation for people, and so yeah, the main thing that I had to say about this, about consciousness, is in the group there, this big thing that I was taught, this great realization that came to me, is that why young people argue with their parents or authority, and I think it's because when their consciousness has expanded beyond the political framework of the environment they're in, and this is bound to happen because kids learn stuff quickly, and so they learn that actually how to use this as a step up, because consciousness is passionate about expansion. And so then you get this thing where the people want them to stay inside the political construct. Okay, so a leading thing of the group, the Sun and Moon group. It's got the consciousness thing going. A very big part of that for me was, and I probably touched on it like 5 times in the 3.5 hours, is actually making consciousness tangible. Because while anxiety is believed as virtuous, which is where our language forces us to be, effectively, consciousness is not tangible. It's an intangible thing. There's no, and this is one of the anti-tamper measures that exist. And so to produce something tangible into the discussion and knowledge and awareness of consciousness, this completely changes the complexion of the perception of it and the way we are allowed to talk. Because as we know, that anxiety actually governs a lot of what we're allowed to talk, because everyone's too fearful of what to say, because they know everyone thinks anxiety is virtuous. And this is why anxiety is a political entity. It's because it governs language. And so, language being spoken or thought, how we conceptualize what the process is producing. We go to express ourselves to people and we want to make it sound good, so we have to acquiesce to the belief that anxiety is virtuous, because that's what all the people hearing it are thinking. So to qualify this like I have, this means they can all just stop. They can just stop. People can then speak freely, and true wisdom can actually feel safe to be freely spoken of. I mean, you know what's going on, all this stuff about words, in the political sphere, all the stuff about words and the political perspective of people, and this is all the aspirations of anxiety. Okay, it's the politically correct optimum situation. Okay, to make the whole world culture neutral. Culture neutral. Because you know what? These religious places, okay, they are culture neutral. Okay? These countries that are heavily interested in religion, like America, like the Middle East, like Mexico, Brazil. Funny how all these places that really love religion are also the most violent places on earth. That's really hilarious, that is. And so that proves what I'm saying is true. That the political optics of religion is that anxiety is virtuous. Because that's a fact, right? All these places that are really religious are also really, really violent. And all the places that aren't religious are not violent. I mean, look at New Zealand. New Zealand is not a Christian country. New Zealand really is about consciousness. Because for a long time, the big thing was the Kiwi number 8 wire mentality, which is make a solution from what you've got around you. And we love sports. We love community. We love sports. And it's almost violence free, man, New Zealand. There's actually very little crime. Actually, I mean, comparatively speaking. So anyhow, there you go. I thought I'd make this video and to announce that, a great vote of confidence in consciousness. There was many instances on the group there of people acknowledging they had a high value perspective created by way of others' thoughts. Okay, and this is what I mean where 1 + 1 = 3. To gift people wisdom, to elevate their thinking on a subject. This is a joy to consciousness. Right, this is joy to consciousness. And so that happened more than a few times. I would recommend go find the Sun and Moon group. It's about 3 hours 36 minutes, and it's got the thumbnail of consciousness. Man, there's some really cool stuff being said in it. Just so yeah, very happy about that. I want to say hi to my new subscribers. It's actually a real cool thing having subscribers, man. Which is what the group was. It was like we all subscribe to each other, and this is consciousness. This is love. Right? And so yeah, wonderful. And so, as I say in the group thing there once, got to go away and work right for a wee while. And when I come back, I'm going to hit the political thing, print those pamphlets, and then hand them out, and because that's the first assault against it. Okay. All what's been happening is really just testing the waters, but that's the first assault on the mainstream in a mainstream way, to format this as a new political party. These flyers will have, as I've said, a concise disclosure of the revelation of the outlaws, and on the other side have the political party aspirations, the policies, right? And let's just see if that gets their attention. I'm thinking it will. Because you only need to be aware that the 8 laws exist, and that it's qualified as a political entity. You can figuratively hold it in your hand and look at it. And so from what perspective are you looking at it? Consciousness. My email is, I'll put my email down below, and you can contact me. You can become a member of the political party. You can send donations, and we'll get together and we'll do this, man. Because this whole political thing I'm going to do in this country is exactly the same thing will happen anywhere. Because this problem that people believing that anxiety is virtuous is everywhere. Okay, it's everywhere, right? So, it's been a pleasure. And the next one will be the greatest one. I'll be off to work, so in a month or so, I'll be back and do that, and then see when the establishment gets tapped on the shoulder. Let's just see what happens. I'm well aware of what could happen, but I know that they can't challenge the 8 laws. They can't challenge the revelation of the 8 laws. They say they're all interested in solutions, like anxiety says, right? But it actually's got no interest in it. It just wants to keep this situation going and going and going. But now that they've been presented with this ultimate solution for problems, man, when mostly all the problems have their genesis in an anxiety, and that's completely camouflaged, because conventional wisdom, as per the political optics of religion, is that anxiety is virtuous. And so this is this pattern of circular logic. So I'm going to break that, and anyone who is aware of the 8 laws, in them that cycle will be broken. this is a great moment. This is a great moment for the world, and so I'm just going to sign off here and say, let's get to the next one.